Hello viewers. So today first we will see some very important name reactions of aldehydes and ketones with respect to competitions. So first we will see Wittig reaction. Okay, Wittig reaction. Wittig reaction is used for preparation of, majorly it is used for preparation of olefins. Okay, olefins. When aldehydes or ketones, either aliphatic or aromatic, react with triphenyl phosphine alkylides, okay, or then olefins are being formed. Okay, for example, let us take benzophenol, C6H5 C double bond O and C6H5. This is our benzophenol, right? Plus we take CH2 double bond P C6H5 whole thrice. So this is our triphenyl phosphine methylene. Triphenyl phosphine methylene. Okay. And what will be our products when both of these react? C6H5 C double bond CH2 and C6H5. So this is 1,1 diphenyl ethylene. This is one position, 1,1 diphenyl ethylene. And next product will be C6H5 whole thrice P double bond O. So this is our triphenyl phosphine oxide. So this was our example. Okay, now let us come to the mechanism part. Okay, mechanism. And what happens if we take any aldehyde or ketone? Okay, then like for example R2C double bond O plus this triphenyl phosphine methylene. Okay, like and this triphenyl phosphine methylene exists in two forms. It may either exist in this one, this is methylene form. Okay, this is methylene form, and it may exist in yield form also, like for example C6H5 whole thrice P plus CH2 minus. Okay, you may pronounce it in yield form. Okay, why yield form? Because this is containing two opposite charges on two adjacent atoms. Okay, so this is our yield form and it exists in two forms, one methylene and one yield form. Now what happens? There is a polarity present here. Okay, because of carbonyl carbon. So what happens? This pi bond moves here and there is a slight positive charge on this carbon and slight negative charge on this oxygen. So because of slight positive charge on this carbon, what happens? The next formation is, I will write it here. Okay, R2C. This is having positive charge. So this CH2 minus will attack here. Okay, this CH2 minus having minus charge will attack on the slight positive charge. Okay. So what happens? This is our O having minus charge as this has moved here. Okay, and this is having slight negative charge, right? So R2C and CH2 P plus C6H5 whole thrice. So this is our butene transition state. Okay, this is our butene transition state occurring. Now what happens? This negative charge attacks over this positive charge. Okay, so there is an attack over here. Okay, now what happens? R2C O, there is a cyclic transition state which is very unstable. Okay, P C6H5 whole thrice. As it is attacked here, so this has formed. Understood? Okay, now what happens? There is, because as soon as it attacks, there is a collapse of this transition state. What happens? This goes here and this goes here. So we get one olefin, that is R2C double bond CH2. This is our olefin, and we get triphenyl phosphine oxide C6H5 whole thrice P double bond O. Okay. This is our olefin. Okay, and this is our triphenyl phosphine oxide. So this was the mechanism for Wittig reaction. Now we will move to Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Okay, next, Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Okay, in this Baeyer-Villiger oxidation, ketones are being oxidized into esters in presence of per acids. Okay, ketones are being oxidized into esters in presence of per acid. For example, if you take any ketone, R, C double bond O, R. Okay, and we take a per acid, R dash, C double bond O, 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 H. Okay, now what will happen in the next step? We will be getting R, C, OH, R and O, C double bond O, R dash. So there is a intermediate formation of peroxide compound. Okay. Now what happens? This reaction is acid catalyzed. Okay. As acid is present in this medium, so this bond attacks the H plus. Okay, and this bond shifts here. As this bond shifts here, this alkyl groups migrate to this oxygen atom. Okay, and as this alkyl group migrates to this oxygen atom, there is development of positive charge over this carbon. Okay, so this is acid catalyzed, and we get minus. Here there is removal of one carboxylic acid, R dash, C double bond O, OH. Yes, this has got double bond O, and here it is OH. So there is removal of this carboxylic acid, and this is acid catalyzed. Okay, understood. Now what happens in the next step? We will be getting R. There will be a slight positive charge on this carbon. Okay, as this has migrated over here, so OH and OR. Okay, now what will happen? There will be removal of H plus. So what will be getting? R, C double bond O, OR. This is our ester. Understood? Next, in Baeyer-Villiger oxidation, cyclic ketones undergo ring expansion. Okay, cyclic ketones undergo ring expansion. For example, if we take cyclohexane 1 and in presence of per acid, RCO3H, what happened? This ketone will turn into ester, oxidize into ester. So we will be getting double bond O, and so there is ring expansion occurring here, and this is our eta caprolactone. Okay, ring expansion has occurred. One more member has increased because of this oxygen. From cyclohexane 1, we are getting eta caprolactone. So this was mechanism of Baeyer-Villiger oxidation. Now we will move to Reformatsky reaction. Okay, Reformatsky reaction. Okay, what happens? We get beta hydroxy esters. In this Reformatsky reaction, we get beta hydroxy esters. So what happens if we take any alpha bromo ester, Br CH2 COO C2H5. Okay, so this is in alpha position. We are taking alpha bromo ester in presence of zinc. Okay, what happens? Next we will be getting Br Zn plus CH2 minus COO C2H5. Okay, now what happens? We may take any either aldehyde or ketone. So let us take any carbonyl compound. Okay, and when it reacts with Br Zn plus CH2 minus COO C2H5, this is a polar bond, and because it is carbonyl, there is a slight positive charge on this carbon and slight negative charge on this oxygen. So what will happen? Because of slight negative charge, this Zn Br having positive will attack over this. So what will be the next product? We will be getting R, C, R having O will be attacked by this positive charge Zn Br. Okay, and there will be this is having negative charge, this is having slight positive charge, so CH2 COO C2H5. Okay. Now what will happen when we hydrolyze it in presence of dilute HCl? Okay. What will be getting? We will be getting ZnBrOH. Okay. And plus we will be getting another product, that is RCrOH CH2 COO C2H5. Okay. So we are getting? We are getting beta hydroxy esters in Reformatsky reaction. Now this beta hydroxy ester are not often isolated. They can undergo further more reactions. For example, in presence of, when it is hydrolyzed in presence of acid, what happens? This may, next product will be OH2 if it attacks. Okay, then OH2 CH2 COO C2H5. Okay. Now in the next, what will happen? There will be removal of one water molecule from here. So we will be getting R, C, R, and this water molecule will get removed. So there will be one positive charge developing here, and CH2 and COO C2H5, isn't it? So now there will be removal of one H plus from here. Again there will be the removal of one H plus from here. Okay. So in the next step we will be getting unsaturated ester. For example, because there will be removal of positive charge from here, double bond CH, okay, CO C2H5. So we are getting unsaturated ester, and when this unsaturated ester is being reduced with hydrogen in presence of nickel, what do we get? We get R, C, R, CH, CH2, C, O, C2H5. Okay. And when this is being hydrolyzed, we get saturated acid. And when this undergo hydrolysis, we get saturated acid. For example, R, CH, R, CH2, COOH. Okay. We are getting saturated acid from this compound. So, beta hydroxy ester. This beta hydroxy ester is the main product of Reformatsky reaction, and this beta hydroxy ester may further undergo this reaction. So, now let us move to Perkin reaction. Next, let us discuss Perkin reaction. Okay, Perkin reaction. What happens in this Perkin reaction? Alpha beta unsaturated acids are being formed. Alpha beta unsaturated acids. Okay. So first let us take any sodium or potassium salt of acid. Okay. Sodium or potassium salt of acid, that is CH3 COO minus. This is sodium or potassium salt of acid. So what happens? So this will CH3 COO minus and Na plus, right? So if we take any aliphatic anhydride, for example acetic anhydride, okay, CH3 COO CO CH3, okay, this is our aliphatic anhydride as well as acetic anhydride. Okay. So what happens now? This CH3COO minus will take up one hydrogen and it will help in generation of the nucleophile. Okay, so when it reacts with CH3COO minus from here. Okay, so what happens? We get CH3, one hydrogen it will take up. Okay, so CH3COOH will be formed, plus we will be getting one nucleophile having CH2 minus CO CH3. Okay, understood. Now if we take any aromatic aldehyde like C6H5 C double bond O H. Okay, now what will happen? This is a polar bond. Okay, so what will happen when it reacts with CH2 minus COCH3. Or what will be the next product? C6H5CO minus and H and CH2COCH3, right? Understood? This will be our next product. Now, one H plus from this CH3COH, H plus attacks here, and our next product will be C6H5COH, H, CH2 and COCH3. Okay. Now there will be removal. In the next step, there will be removal of one water molecule. Okay. There will be removal of one water molecule. So what will be the product? C6H5CH double bond CH. Okay. COCH3. Okay. We'll be getting this product. Okay. Now when it is being hydrolyzed. So what will be getting? C6H5CH double bond CH COOH plus CH3COOH. Okay. So we are getting alpha beta unsaturated acid through Perking reaction. Okay. What we have taken? We have taken aliphatic anhydride and we have taken aromatic aldehyde and we have taken sodium or potassium salt of that acid. Okay. And we are getting alpha beta unsaturated acid in Perking reaction. So this was the mechanism of Perking reaction. Now let us come to some named reactions of carboxylic acid. Hans-Decker reaction. Okay. Hans-Decker reaction. Okay. In this Hans-Decker reaction, if we take any silver salt of acid, okay, for example, let us take silver acetate, okay, CH3COOAG. This is silver acetate. When it is being reacted with bromine in presence of CCl4, okay, what happens? We get alkyl halide, okay, plus CO2 plus AgBr. Okay. Now, see here, this alkyl halide is containing one carbon atom less than the silver salt of the acid. Here there are two carbon atoms, here only one carbon atom. Okay, so this was our Hans-Decker reaction. Now, let us next see Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction. Okay, Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction. What happens if we take any acid having alpha hydrogens? For example, if we take acetic acid, this is having alpha hydrogens. Okay. Now when we react in presence of any halogen like chlorine and red phosphorus. Okay. So first this successively one by one this alpha hydrogens will get replaced by the halogen atom. First we will be getting C, Cl, CH2, COH. So this is chloroacetic acid. Now again when we react with chlorine and red phosphorus, we will be getting dichloroacetic acid, that is Cl2CH, okay. Again when we will be reacting with Cl2 and in presence of red phosphorus, what will be getting? Trichloroacetic acid, that is Cl3CCOOH. This is trichloroacetic acid. Okay, understood. Now this monochloroacetic acid, when reacted with, if this monochloric acetic acid is being reacted with KOH, okay, so this chlorine atom will be replaced by OH, so we will be getting OH, CH2, COOH. So what is this? This is our glycolic acid. Okay, glycolic acid. And when we react this monochloric acetic acid with ammonia, okay, then we will get alpha amino acetic acid, okay, right, and this will be this is glycolic acid and this is our glycine. Okay, so you can see we are getting many kind of products. Okay, and when it is reacted with KCl. Okay, so what we get? We get alpha cyanoacetic acid, that is Cl will be replaced by Cn, CH2, COOH. Okay, and when this alpha cyanoacetic acid is being hydrolyzed, okay, hydrolysis, then we will get COOH, CH2, COOH. What is this? This is our malonic acid. Understood? Next, let us see how to turn acetic acid to formic acid. We want to turn acetic acid into formic acid. Okay, that is from, this is higher homologue and this is next lower homologue. This is the higher homologue and this is the next lower homologue. So we want to turn acetic acid to formic acid. For turning this, we have to take help of Hofmann-Bromamide reaction. Hofmann-Bromamide reaction. Okay, so what happens in Hofmann-Bromamide reaction? Acid amides turn into primary amines. Acid amides turn into primary amines. For example, if we take acid amide, RC double bond O NH2. Okay, and here we are reacting with bromine, so there is removal of HBr. Okay, and we get RC double bond O NHBr. Okay, now in presence of base OH minus, okay, what happens? There is removal of one water molecule. Okay, and we get RC double bond O N having a negative charge and Br. Okay, so in the next step there is removal of this Br minus. There is removal of Br minus. Okay, in the next step. So what do we get? R C double bond O and N having two lone pairs. Okay, so one lone pair shifts here and this alkyl group migrates to this nitrogen atom. Okay, so in the next step what happens? We get R N double bond C double bond O. This is isocyanate. Okay, now what happens when we react with two molecules of KOH? Okay, what happens? We get K2CO3 and plus one amine. Okay, so from acid amides we are getting amines in Hofmann-Bromamide reaction in presence of bromine and base, either KOH, okay, and in presence of bromine and base. Okay, from amides we are getting amines. Okay, so how to turn acetic acid into formic acid? This was our question. Okay, so acetic acid, let us see how to turn acetic acid to formic acid. Okay, so this is our CH3COH, this is our acetic acid. Okay, now if we react with, if we heat it in presence of ammonia, okay, heat it in presence of ammonia, there will be removal of one water molecule and we will be getting CH3CONH2. This is, we have got acid amide, right? Now acid amide, when it undergoes Hofmann-Bromamide reaction, that is bromine and KOH, okay, Hofmann-Bromamide reaction, it turns into primary amine, okay, that is CH3NH2, that is methylamine. Okay, now when it is reacted with HONO, okay, there is removal of nitrogen molecule and water molecule, and what do we get? Alcohol, methyl alcohol. Okay, now when we oxidize in presence of K2Cr2O7 in acidic medium, okay, H2SO4, okay, we get formaldehyde, isn't it? It is oxidized into aldehyde, and when it is further oxidized, so what happens? Formaldehyde turns into formic acid. So through Hofmann-Bromamide reaction, we have turned acetic acid to formic acid. Understood? Now let's move to the next. Let us see schimidet reagent. Schimidet rearrangement. Okay, so what happens in this schematic rearrangement? The carboxylic acids turn into primary amines. Carboxylic acid turn into primary amines. For example, if we take any carboxylic acid, RC double bond OH, okay, and in presence of H plus, what will happen? This RC, let us double bond O, this H will attack and it will have contain a positive charge, and this OH, okay. And now in presence of hydrozoic acid, okay, so N minus and N plus double bond NH. So this is our hydrozoic acid. Now what happens? This pi bond shifts here, okay, and what do we get in this? As this shifts here, positive charge comes over the carbon. As positive charge comes over the carbon, so nitrogen having negative charge attacks over this carbon containing positive charge. So in the next step, what happens? R, C, OH, OH and N double bond N plus double bond NH. Okay. So next, what happens in the next step? There is removal of one water molecule. Okay. So what will be getting? R, C, double bond O and N per bond N plus and double bond NH. Okay. We have got this. Now what happens in the next step? This H attacks over this nitrogen. Okay. Now and this pi bond shifts over here as this has to attach with H, and this bond shifts here. Okay. Now see what happens in the next step. What will be getting the next product? That is R, C double bond O and NH and then what happens? N plus triple bond N. Okay. Now to remove this positive charge, we have to remove one nitrogen molecule. So there is removal of one nitrogen. Okay. Now what will we be getting? R, C double bond O, N minus H. So this H will get removed in the next step. Okay. And what will be getting in the next step? R, C double bond O and N having two lone pairs. Okay. This is having two lone pairs. Okay. Now what will happen? This lone pair will shift here and this alkyl group will shift here. Now what will be getting? R, N double bond C double bond O. So this is our isocyanate. Isocyanate, when being hydrolyzed, so there is removal of one carbon dioxide molecule and we get amines. Okay. So from carboxylic acids, we are getting amines in schematic rearrangement. Now let's move to the next rearrangement. Next, let us look into what is Beckmann rearrangement. Okay. Beckmann rearrangement. Okay. So what happens is in this Beckmann rearrangement, the ketoenzymes turn into substituted acid amides. Ketoenzymes turn into substituted acid amides. But let us know where from do we get ketoenzymes. Okay. When any ketone, okay, when any ketone reacts with hydroxylamine, this is our hydroxylamine. So there is removal of one water molecule. Okay. And what do we get? We get R, C, R, double bond and OH. So this is our ketoenzyme. Okay. Now when this ketoenzyme undergoes Beckmann rearrangement, what happens? We get substituted acid amides. If this is R dash and this is R dash, what will we be getting? R, C, double bond O, N, H, R dash. Okay. So this is our substituted acid amide. Now let us come to the mechanism. For example, let us take the ketoenzyme. Okay. So this is our ketoenzyme. R dash, C, R, double bond N OH. This is our ketoxime. So now what happens in presence of H plus? So this is R dash C R double bond N OH2 plus. So in the next step there is removal of water molecule. Okay, so R dash C R and nitrogen will have one positive charge. So to remove this positive charge there is migration of alkyl group. But which alkyl group? The R dash or R? The alkyl group will migrate which is anti to OH. So this R dash is in anti position to OH. So this alkyl group will migrate to attack to nitrogen atom. Okay. So what happens? This alkyl group shifts here. Okay. Now what we get in the next step? So as this shifts here, there will be a development of positive charge on this carbon. So in the next step, what we get? R C plus double bond N R. Okay, R dash. Okay. So this is our next product. Now what happens in presence of water molecule? What will happen? R C OH2. The positive charge has shifted here. Okay, double bond N R dash. Okay. In the next step, what will happen? There will be removal of one H plus from here. Okay. So what will be getting? R C OH and double bond N R dash. Okay. Now what happens? This H attacks here on the nitrogen atom. This bond shifts here and this bond shifts here on this nitrogen atom to attach to the hydrogen. So what will be getting? R, as this is attached, C double bond O and H has attached to N, so NHR dash. So this is our substituted acetamide for ketoxime. What happens in Beckmann rearrangement? In Beckmann rearrangement, ketoxymes turn into substituted acetamides. Okay, so this was our mechanism. So if you like these videos and you want to still continue with more mechanisms, interesting mechanisms for competitive exams, so stay with me and please like and subscribe. Thank you.